Hello everybody, my name is Pierre Couture and I'm a land scale modeler from Quebec City, and it's an honor and a pleasure for me to present you today this video from my best friend Serge Lebel, president of the Sanmore Subdivision Model Railroad. So I hope you will enjoy viewing this video as I have enjoyed my trip here and visit to Serge's layout.
Greetings everyone, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Canadian National Railway's Sanmore Subdivision, Scale 2 rail. This is episode number 12, and this is now the end of April 2023. Even if it's only been about 5 months since my last update, I figured I'd do a new video. I have a few projects that I want to bring you up to date on. But before we do that, I would like to take a moment to thank my good friend Pierre Couture for doing today's introduction. Pierre and I have been friends for close to 30 years now, and Pierre is one of the best N-scale modelers I've ever known. And I'll try to put a link in the description below. If I can, I don't know, I've never done that before. But I'll try to put a link to his Facebook page. If it doesn't work, I'll have it written down here. It's the N-scale Matapedia Valley and Eastern Railway. And let me tell you, it is worth a look. So please go and check it out. So without further ado, if you guys are ready, let's get a tour of the few projects, that, if I can call them projects, few things that I've been working on that are still not finished, but they're coming along pretty good. Okay, so for starters, I don't know if you guys recall in my last episode, in episode number 10 actually, I had mentioned I was working on the Irving oil transloading plant. And while it's coming along pretty well, it's, like I said, it's not done yet, but it's getting close to be done, at the point where it's mostly a matter of getting the scenery in place, and the final details will just take their shape as the scenery is being built. So this building here, which was only the bare bones in my previous episode, is now finished. Now I will, let me just, maybe I could try, I'll just try to turn off a few lights here so you can see the interior. Okay, there you go. Maybe that helps a little bit. This building is, I detailed the interior. It's lighted. And like all of my projects, it's all scratch built, of course, because that's what I like to do. Now I'll try to bring you inside here. I have some photos that'll show this a lot better, so I'll probably edit some photos in here, but you get the idea here. You get the nice lighted sign, and the old Irving oil gas pump here. As you can see, I'm planning to do the asphalt, and I'm thinking I'll be using cork for the to simulate the asphalt for my roads and my driveways. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I'm giving it a shot. So I'll just turn the lights back on here quickly. All right. Now, like I said, scratch built plenty of 3D printed details. A lot of them are of my own design. Some of them are from Thingiverse, like these little propane tanks here. Got those off Thingiverse. So back here, there's going to be a whole fenced in area. Now the fence, what I'm doing for the fence is I'm using brass tubing, which is soldered together with tin. And for the mesh, I'm using some wedding veil, or I think they call it tulle, T-U-L-E. And I'm gluing that with CA glue. And it works nice. It looks good. And no, my fence is not. It's not planted. It's not gonna stand up, that far off the ground. I need to drill holes in the plywood and get this fence seated in place. So for now, it's just standing there. But I did make all the gates operational, just for fun, just to create different scenes. And this fence is going to continue all the way up to the derailleurs, all the way over there. So still have a lot of tubing to solder together and a lot of work to do on that fence. But once that's done, I can actually finish this scene, do the scenery, and get it done. The propane tank, it's just a piece of tubing from what I was using for the house here. I made this little extension here from my water heater upstairs, just in case something happens, and I brought it down to the drain here, and I had a leftover pipe. So this is the pipe that I used, and just painted it, decaled it, and looks all right. Looks like a propane tank. Now this is the huge gasoline tank. It's 14 million liters. It's a large tank. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. And you saw that in my episode 10. This was just a few sticks glued together, and I just put a skin on it. And again, I'll edit some photos in here. Now all my pipeline, this is all 3D printed. I'm using PVC tubing for the pipes, and I made my own parts for the all the couplings and everything else. The ramp you already saw in episode number 10, so I'm not going to waste any time on there. Now you have the rest of the reservoirs here, the vertical reservoirs, here is the pump house. Now again, pump house. It's got lots of details in there. All 3D printed. And I made an effort to have something that's build something that's logical. I mean, there's a pipeline that's coming from the dock. That would be on the other side of this this bay right here, and all the raw products, well, all the products are coming through this pipeline, and once they reach the pump house here, there's a series of valves where you can reroute everything. Now I'll just take these cars out of the way here. Let's not forget the derailleur so we don't have a spill. There. Now once the cars are moving, no handbrakes. That's what happens. Now once the product is rerouted, it can be either gasoline, it can be diesel, or kerosene. Now if it's gasoline, it's rerouted through this large pipe here that goes that runs behind the tanks and comes back out on this side here and fills this large gasoline tank. Now it can be diesel or kerosene. Now if it's kerosene, it'll be rerouted through the center pipeline here, and that center pipeline is connected with the first 1, 2, 3, 4, with the first 5 tanks actually. So you can see the connection here to the first 5 tanks. Get a better view here. And if it's diesel, then it's the line that's closest to the track here, and that one is routed to the last 4 vertical tanks. So if we move all the way over here, now that is connected to these tanks right there. Now this is to fill the tanks. Now when this product is ready to be delivered, then the valves are reopened and the product goes through these pipes here, and it goes underneath the ramp and to all the different connecting loading stations. So you have the valves here for all the different spots for all the different products. So in a nutshell, this is pretty much it. This is the Irving Oil transloading facility, and to complete this project, what I did for the propane, I went in reverse logic from what I usually do here. Is usually I fill the cars with the product, and the cars are then delivered on the layout. Now as for the propane, because I don't have a large propane reservoir, the propane arrives, the car arrives full, and it's spotted here at spot number 1, and it is connected on the ground to this small reservoir here. Now once the tank car is empty, that means that the only propane left is what's in this tank right here, so it's time to order a new carload. Now this car is an Atlas, I think it's a 33K tank car, which I modified a little bit. I used the parts that are, because it was a roof walk that was along the tank all the way across. So I used that roof walk. I chopped it in bits and I reconfigured it, and I made some bulkheads, which is the new norm now for tank cars, and I painted the car in the old Irving paint scheme. Nowadays I think I'm not even sure if they still have tank cars, but the last one I saw were all white with the new Irving logo. Now I wanted to have something that would be, you know, sort of a tribute to what I've known and what I've modeled in N scale, because I've modeled this plant in N scale on my previous layout about 20 years ago. So I wanted to have something that would tie that into this layout. So that's why I painted this car in the old paint scheme. Now another project that I've been working on is this truck terminal, which again, now if you look at episode number 10, this was only the bones of the building. Now I've added the skin to it, and it's looking pretty good. Now this is in the same industrial park as the Irving oil facility and where the barge will be and everything else. So now this building, I named it the Donald Franca Effet Transport. It's a tribute to one of my friends when I was living in Edmundston. Donald Franca was a good friend of mine. Well, I mean, he still is. Don't get me wrong, he's not dead or anything. It's just we kind of lost touch because we don't get to see each other as often. But I wanted to pay tribute to Mr. Franca, so named this building after him. Now this building has a little bit of interior detail also. There's the FedEx side of the building here, which is it's a real mess. They need to have some shelves in there. But you can see all the boxes, all the stuff that's being sorted out. And there's the freight side right here. And in the front side of the office here, I made the roof removable. First time I do that. I haven't done that on any of my other buildings. I should have, because now I can look at the inside once in a while, and I like looking inside the building and seeing what I've done here. This is Mr. Franca's office, and you can tell that he's a model railroader too. He's got locomotive screensaver on his computer. He's got photos of trains on the walls there, and I would bet just about anything that is a track plan that he had designed for his future layout. Now reception area right here. Sorry about the wires and the lights here, it's in the way. But yeah, you got the reception area here, and there's a nice little lunchroom for the employees where they have their lockers. You can come here, have their lunch, cup of coffee. Now, a lot of that, again, is 3D printed. Some of the items, like the chairs and the lunch break table, I purchased on eBay. But everything else is it's 3D printed. The desk, the computer, the filing cabinets, the fire extinguishers, lockers. And the photos, of course, are all from my layout, oddly enough. So you've guessed it, all scratch built again. And I'd say it's about 90% complete. There's still a lot of details that I want to add to it, but it's probably it's the same thing as my my Irving oil plant there. It's going to be a matter of doing the scenery first and then adding some of these final details to the building. And for the final part of this very short update video, I have been doing some scenery, finally. Would you believe it's been over 20 years since the last time I've done any scenery. And boy, did things ever change in the past 20 years when it comes to making scenery. I mean, the products that are out today, it's incredible. So it's been a learning process for me, working with these all new products. But I'm very happy with what I've done so far. And I mean, there's still going to be a little bit more I'll be adding to this scenery. It's, you know, it's a matter of layers. So I just work one layer at a time and add another layer and then another layer. But how I've done this is I just painted my my plaster, and then I used some sifted dirt from the driveway, or well, not from the driveway, but from my lot here. And I also used some tree moss that I ran through the blender to make it sort of like, not really powder, but make it into very small bits. So here you have just the gravel, and it's all glued with Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge diluted. Works really nice. And here you have a little bit, well, here it shows a little bit better. You have some of that tree moss and some dead leaves that I did the same. I ran these through the blender, and up to this point, it's, you know, it's really cheap. It doesn't cost much to get to that point. Now it's after that it gets a bit costly, because I purchased some grass tufts, and I glued these in place, and then I thought, well, that's gonna ruin me. So I bought a bag of static grass, and I put the static grass with, you know, just a drop of glue, and tried to stand the static grass with my fingers. That didn't really work out all that well, but it still combined with the grass tufts, it worked a little bit. Now I just received a couple of days ago more static grass and a static grass applicator. I've never worked with that, so I'll it'll be a learning curve again, but I'll probably add a lot more grass to the scenery. So that's, when I say I'm working with layers, well, that's going to be, in this case, it's going to be the final layer, but I think that it should be an earlier layer in later on when I'm working on other parts of my scenery. Now I'm working in reverse here. Like I said, I haven't done this in 20 years and things change a lot. So I'm learning. The trees are made the boomer way, if I can call it that. Method I learned from boomer dioramas of working with a small wooden dowel and some florist's wire and static grass, and I really love the way this is turning out. It's making really nice trees. Even if my trees are not that good, because I'm learning again, but still, for first try, I'm really happy. Even made some dead trees here, so I'm really happy with this technique. The bark is just sawdust that's sprinkled on, and you just paint it with a spray can. So it's nice. It's really nice. It's better than anything I've done before. The deciduous trees are blueberry bush that I just taped together and painted, and that too I think is looking pretty good overall. Now I started at adding some details like this flange lubricator here. Not done yet. You can see the wire from the solar panel is not, it's loose. I need to find a way to connect it, if you will, and there needs to be some a hose that comes out of the lubricator that goes to the applicator between the rails. So yeah, still a little bit of detail to put in there, but I'm really loving the way this is turning out. Even put some bunnies here munching on my static grass. Probably doesn't taste very good. Now about the static grass, grass tufts, everything, I did not go with the colors that it comes in, because it comes in various shades of green, and the colors did not look good on the layout, so I airbrushed everything. Of course I airbrushed the trees, but I airbrushed all the grass tufts and all the static grass to tone it down a bit, make it look like it's more fits better with my dried leaves and my moss. So I think that ties everything pretty good. Did the same with the track. I airbrushed the track after it was ballasted. Create a little scene here. You have the Roadmaster that's taking out some flags for the Rule 43, which is a speed restriction, because this early in the spring, especially if there's a body of water that is this close to the track, sometimes you have issues with the underlying roadbed. So it creates slow orders for the trains. So this is why the Roadmaster is here, getting ready to put the flags up. Again, a little bit of details with the bungalow, the utility poles, all 3D printed items. Now I have to fix all the utility poles in place permanently, and then I'll be adding the wires. Now for the wires, I'm using some stretch sewing thread, which I'll find on Amazon. I think it's Lycra, but it's really stretched, so you can, if something happens that somebody, for some reason runs their finger through the, the wires, it's not gonna pull everything down. It's just gonna stretch. So hopefully that's gonna work. I don't know yet. So I'll shut up for now. I'll let you enjoy this little view here, and this will conclude this last update for a little while. So that's it, folks. Have a nice summer. I will resume my activities in the fall, and I'll be back probably in the winter time for next update. See you guys.